I still remember the moment I first saw the text. It wasn't from her, it was from my sister. "You need to see this before it gets worse," she wrote. My stomach dropped, and a cold sweat formed along my spine. I had no idea what I was about to uncover, but instinctively, I knew it would change everything. A week earlier, my wife, Jenna, had called me into the living room, her hands nervously clutching a small envelope. I have something to tell you," she said, her voice trembling. I thought it would be good news. Maybe she was finally telling me she'd scheduled her prenatal checkup. I never expected the word she spoke next. "I'm pregnant." At first, I was overjoyed, or at least I tried to be. I smiled. I hugged her. I told myself this was the start of our dream family. But something about her eyes, so evasive, so restless, gnawed at me. That subtle flicker of unease grew into a storm I couldn't ignore. The first signs were small, almost laughable at the time. Missed calls when I knew she was home. Texts she would delete the moment I came near. A sudden interest in late-night walks that she couldn't explain. I tried to silence my suspicions, told myself I was imagining things, being paranoid. Maybe I was overthinking. But there was this tension, a quiet, creeping feeling that the version of my life I thought I knew was slipping through my fingers. Then the messages started appearing, not on her phone, but accidentally when I reached for my laptop to check something. A name I didn't recognize, conversations that didn't make sense, affectionate texts she thought I wouldn't see. At first, I questioned myself. Was I reading too much into innocent jokes, friendly banter? But the weight of countless tiny lies began to pile up, each one a stone in my chest. One evening, she came home later than usual. I asked where she'd been. "Just some errands," she said, avoiding my gaze. But the smell of another man's cologne lingered faintly in her coat. I froze. My hands shook. I didn't know whether to scream or break down. I wanted desperately to believe her, to bury the gnawing suspicion in the love I still felt for her. But the evidence was undeniable. Then came the bombshell, the truth I never saw coming. I was sorting through bills, and a small medical statement fell out of an envelope addressed to her. My hands hesitated as I read the words. The test was clear, prenatal. But the date? Weeks before we conceived together, according to her. And the father's initials, they weren't mine. I felt the air leave my lungs. Every memory of her swelled with betrayal. Our quiet dinners, the laughter on the couch, the soft nights I thought were ours alone. Each moment now felt hollow, tainted. I remembered the way she smiled when I mentioned the future, the gentle press of her hand in mine, and I saw the lies beneath it all. Confrontation was inevitable. I remember the night vividly. She sat across from me at the kitchen table, her eyes glossy, lips trembling. "I can explain," she whispered. I couldn't speak at first. The hurt, the confusion, the love I still clung to, it all collided violently in my chest. "I need to know everything," I finally said, my voice breaking. She told me then, through tears and stammering, about the affair, about a moment of weakness she hadn't intended to grow into this, about the man she'd known before me, who reappeared in her life at the worst possible time. She tried to justify it. Loneliness, stress, mistakes. But every word only dug the hole deeper. I don't think I cried. I don't even know if I breathed properly for several minutes. I felt like a ghost in my own home, watching the person I loved transform into someone I barely recognized. I realized then that some things couldn't be fixed, couldn't be forgiven. Not yet, not ever, maybe. I told her we needed space, that I needed to process the betrayal before I could even think about forgiveness. And in the quiet aftermath, I learned something painful but necessary. Love alone isn't enough when trust has been shattered. I had to reclaim myself, my dignity, my sense of reality. The hardest part wasn't her betrayal itself. It was how it colored every memory, how it made me question the truth of everything I had held dear. And yet, even in that darkness, I found a strange clarity. I realized I could endure this heartbreak and emerge stronger, even if the love we shared was irreparably broken. In the weeks that followed, I focused on myself, my work, my friends, my own emotional healing. I stopped waiting for calls, stopped replaying conversations, stopped torturing myself with what-ifs. The pain never fully disappeared, but it became a lesson in resilience, in the necessity of self-respect, in the truth that some endings, though devastating, allow for beginnings we never imagined. I still think about the pregnancy, sometimes. I imagine the child, the life that might have been, and I feel a flicker of sorrow that is impossible to ignore. But I also feel something else, the unshakable knowledge that I survived the moment I thought would destroy me. And from that survival, I learned a truth I hadn't known before. Heartbreak, when faced with courage and honesty, can be the catalyst for a life rebuilt on your own terms. Even now, months later, the wound is faint but present. The smell of her perfume can still twist my stomach. But I have regained my power, my clarity. I no longer dwell on betrayal. I honor the lesson, the pain, and the strength it unearthed in me. And one day, when the scar fades entirely, I will know that I loved fully, trusted deeply, and survived the unthinkable.